Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Display Line podcast. I'm your host, Ollie.
And I'm your other host, Joey.
And today we're going to be taking you through the last month and a half worth of military aviation, war news, generic aviation news, space, and weather news. So, Joey, before we get started, do you want to explain where you are?
Yeah, currently I'm on holiday in Spain, but got priorities. Still got to make these. You will have probably noticed not as many promos recently because we've both been busy. I've been, getting comfortable in Spain. Now in a caravan. But the grind doesn't stop. We're going to keep making these. Now that I can actually have Wi-Fi while I'm in Spain, and I've got my laptop. No excuses for me now. Got to keep doing
Yeah,
them. Uh, yeah, and you will notice throughout this, Ollie has been having camera issues. So if it goes
yeah.
blurry or whatever, that's why we can't seem to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, yeah, I mean, it's done it just there. I like as you, Joey, I don't think could see, but you viewers at home, you can see it's the quality's just decreased down to like 320 resolution. So there's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll get started. Joey, do you want to take us through our first piece of news?
Yeah, so we're going all the way back. We briefly mentioned this in one of the episodes, I believe, but I think that's kind of around the time we decided to do a monthly news roundup. It was in the middle of June. We had a weirdly condensed string of accidents or incidents with planes, including a US Navy F-18 crashing near Rimrock Lake. The pilot luckily ejected, but it did crash into the side of a mountain. And probably should just preface this by saying, because I'm on holiday, we didn't have as much time to prepare. So we are literally just kind of reading this off of
Yeah,
the list we already had. What we do is we send the tweet or the TikTok about the news all into a channel, and we're basically just reading off of
yeah,
that channel right now. So that's why you'll see me scrolling or whatever.
and me as
Uh,
well.
but yeah, but that wasn't the only crash in that week. There was weirdly quite a lot. We had the Indian Air Force AN-32 that crashed, which unfortunately killed five, but had one survivor. Uh, we had This was pretty much everywhere online at the time, was a helicopter crash that involved two helicopters in, I believe, Brazil. This one went viral because singer Oliver Tree was unfortunately one of the victims. That one was pretty much everywhere online at the time.
Yeah, it really was. It was I mean, huge blow to the, singing community and stuff. I don't really listen to music that much. Like I listen to some, but it's not something that I'm into as much as people. But obviously, everyone knows who Oliver Tree is. He was like really big back in like 2020 and 2021, I think it was, back in like pandemic, where he made loads of songs like "Life Goes On" or something like that. So yeah, it was quite a big blow to the singing and like music industry, but obviously we can't sort of dismiss the other casualties and like deaths in that helicopter incident. Obviously, we pay all our tributes to everyone who has died in the recent plane incidents and crashes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. There was also a plane carrying skydivers in Missouri in America that unfortunately crashed, and unfortunately, all 11 skydivers and the pilot passed away. I believe, as for that week, there was one or two more, but I can't seem to pull them up. But it was a very weird week. Even in the channel that I'm reading through, we're like, what is happening? Because it
Yeah,
was genuinely just a really big string of unfortunate
yeah,
crashes.
you
Let's see
could
if I can
see.
load this one up
Well, I
here.
don't know if you're about to see it because
Um,
my screen is genuinely awful and it generally is putting me in like 320p.
yeah,
But those messages
I'll
is
probably put a
Joey's.
screenshot up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
'cause,
it was something, that's for sure. But as for that week of crashes, that at least that I can see,
I don't know if you're about to see that
that
because it's backwards. Joey will be able to actually read that possibly because it's backwards for
yeah,
him, but for the viewers
I
at
will
home,
put a screenshot up.
yeah.
Yeah. There was some stuff in war news that we'll get onto from that week. There's one or two more crashes from that week in war news, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. Um, as for generic news, Operation Eagle Hawk from the Red Arrows, which is their America tour, which I believe they're actually actively on their way
Coming
back
back,
from.
yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, they won't be back in time for Blackpool Air Show, but they'll be in time for Southport. Um, but I was hoping that they would be at Blackpool, but instead we got the MiG-17, which I'm not
Not
going to
bad, is
complain
it?
about.
Yeah.
Incredible aircraft, yeah. Of all the replacements, it's definitely a good one.
Yeah, it really is. We both saw it at Midlands, as everyone knows. We put a few pictures on our like photography account on Instagram and stuff, and we spoke about it a lot before and after Midlands, giving it like I think the second or third, like joint second or third highest like score in total on our like ratings. Obviously, we got Farnborough for next week's episode, which was supposed to be this week's, but then obviously me and Joey had very big time like issues last week and really couldn't record a podcast. I attempted it on my own, but it was literally like 10 minutes long of me reading off a Discord, which is sort of what we're doing now, but at least we can talk to each other, so.
Yeah, it definitely works better with two people because if you're just reading it, as much as you see YouTubers and stuff like that doing it flawlessly, they've been doing it for what, 10 plus years, and they still probably find it a bit awkward. Talking to a camera just does not feel natural to anyone, I
Yeah,
don't think. So when there's at least someone else there, I mean, I've got you up on the top right corner of my screen, and it's just like having a conversation, but just wording it as though you're talking to the third person in the call, which is you guys. Um, but moving back onto the news, still in June, this was a bit later in the month, we had the final flight of the old Air Force One plane, which was a Boeing VC-25A, which served presidents for over 35 years. And I believe there was a bit more recent news regarding the new one. I believe he was told not to fly in the new one due to safety concerns, due to it
yeah.
being from a different country, um, which is a
From
bit
like China
peculiar. You think
Airlines
of
or
it
something like
from,
that, so I think that's
yeah,
probably
I
why.
believe it was Saudi Arabian,
Something like
um,
that, yeah.
but you would think they would do checks on it before they let him fly on it. I don't see, I personally don't see what the hassle was there, but it was due to some threats from Iranian sources. Um, there was also a US Coast Guard helicopter that crashed in Alaska, nearing the end of June now. Search and rescue was underway at the time, and as far as I'm aware, they found it.
Yeah,
Not sure on the update. Didn't actually get one. My Twitter feed, which is where I get a lot of my news from, was kind of swamped with World Cup news at the time, like just after this happened. So I didn't get as
yeah,
much news regarding planes because all I could see was, oh, this random country's been knocked out of the World Cup. I don't watch football that much,
yeah,
so I didn't
same.
really care. But it was all that was on my Twitter feed for ages. This one's quite a peculiar story, actually. And there is an update recently from it. A plane in China crashed into a small civilian plane crashed into the largest skyscraper in Beijing. And as far as I remember, this was like over a month ago at this point. Uh, the pilot was pretty much the only casualty, probably a few more injuries.
Yeah,
Um, but what has happened since, and I mean very recently, from what I heard from Aaron Rains, just scrolling through TikTok, is China has since banned all general aviation for leisurely flights. They very much went a bit excessive with it, but I mean, it can't happen if you don't let them.
yeah.
So I guess they just took the shoot everything down and then nothing can hit your approach. And I mean, it's worked so far. I haven't heard of any
Yeah.
planes hitting any buildings in Beijing. Um, so it's definitely an interesting approach.
Yeah, in other news, we also had a flying saucer reported on Flight Radar 24. Uh, Obviously, it says just a weather balloon on the thing, so maybe it was a weather balloon, and maybe it was China invading the US again. But yeah, it's call sign Saucer One was tracked by 18,400 people at the time of that screenshot, so it probably went up. It probably got over 20,000, I'd assume. And obviously, it was around Area 51. I believe it flew over Area 51 at one point over there in the western, southwestern part of the US. And it's quite funny. Obviously, there'll be a screenshot of what we're seeing up on the screen, and you can see for yourself that it has got a picture of a flying saucer as its like image. So Jet Photos has definitely got some explaining to do with that one.
Yeah, it also did a circle around Roswell, New Mexico, and then did an X over it, which is where like the most famous UFO crash report
Yeah,
is from. Um, I believe this was an advertisement for something, but I can't actually remember what it was for. It was like promotion for a movie, probably Disclosure Day or something like that. But yeah, presumably there wasn't actually a UFO there, but
Yeah,
you know, who knows? I wasn't there. You never know. It's America, innit? Speaking of America, the next bit of news we have is the US 250th anniversary fly past. Um, Quite the big fly past, probably one of the biggest international fly pasts ever.
there was at
Um,
least one
yeah,
aircraft that took part, to be fair.
there was.
So,
Yeah, there was at least seven, actually at least nine. The Red Arrows did a fly past.
oh yeah, and
We
obviously
also
they use
had
nine jets
the,
for the US, but
uh,
they can't use more than like one in the UK because like otherwise they might
yeah,
just fall apart and explode.
yeah, but they can't fall apart in America because it's America.
Well, exactly.
Um, we also had the French equivalent of the Red Arrows. I cannot remember their
The
name.
True de France.
Uh, yeah, that one. And obviously the Blue Angels, the Thunderbirds, a bunch of fighter jets. We'll probably
Yeah,
put pictures or videos on the screen. It was certainly summer. I mean, the fireworks display on that 4th of July weren't great because all the smoke just blocked the fireworks. But the fly past was good.
yeah.
Um, we then had a peculiar incident which you sent in. Um, I don't
Oh
know much
yeah.
about it. I believe I know roughly what happened, but you might know a bit more.
Yeah, basically there was basically an incident at Gatwick where the plane was just it basically closed one of the well the only runway at Gatwick, because I believe Gatwick only has one. Either way, the only active runway at the time, and there was 10 aircraft that had to divert, and obviously Gatwick's like down here in London, and like where they were going to like Luton or whatever is like all the way up here. So and that's got like quite a bit more fuel for having to hold and then go over and then probably go into a holding pattern there. So 10 aircraft were quite low on fuel, and they just squawked 7700. So nothing actually happened in the end. They all landed safely. There was no reports of crashes or fuel related issues. It was just the fact that they had to divert with a lower fuel than they would have ideally liked.
Yeah, and there's screenshots of Flight Radar 24 showing 10 red aircraft is something that I've personally never
Yeah.
seen before. It's certainly something. But then a few days later, we had there was I believe, another crash. It was a one of them water planes
Oh
crashed
yeah.
into an island.
It did. Yeah.
Um, this is definitely one of the most recent things we have on the news
Well, it is the
because
most recent
I've kind
thing for normal news.
yeah, might have yeah, we got a few more recent space and weather, especially weather news, um, which Bill talked about on today's promo at the time of recording. Will be about a bit of the weather news. But this seaplane did hit an island. As far as I'm aware, was not great. I mean, the pictures show it on fire, so I can only assume there's maybe one or two casualties. Like I said,
Everyone was fine.
going based
Actually,
on the
everyone
picture.
was
Oh,
completely
everyone was
fine. I
fine.
saw an update from Aaron Rains, actually. He said everyone was fine. The plane caught on fire after everyone was evacuated, so that's quite good. Luckily,
That
everyone
is
was
lucky.
okay with that.
Yeah, that is very, very lucky. But that is it for the normal news. Like we said, we're probably missing a few, because my Twitter feed was World Cup news for like 3 weeks straight.
Oh,
So there's probably,
what? Okay,
there we
we
go.
back?
Yeah,
I
fixed
turned
it.
my fan on, or
Yeah,
like up a notch or whatever, and then it just like froze my camera. Gang.
yeah, that happens because as we know, cameras and fans are like
Yeah,
intertwined.
yeah, well,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, there is going to be stuff we missed because my Twitter feed was all World Cup news for like 3 weeks straight. I had to search up plane on the search bar to find some stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good for looking for news, but there was still some stuff that we found through that. But we'll now move on to conflict news, which we have some conflict news, such as a supersonic bomber from the Russian Air Force crashing, which was in the same week as all them random crashes in like America and all that. Um, Not something you see every day. This wasn't even related to the war. It just crashed. It just kind of fell into a field. Um, there was also a Ukrainian Su-24 that crashed in Western Ukraine on my birthday actually, on the 17th of June. Um, which once again I believe was just unrelated to the war. Western Ukraine is very far from the front lines. I believe
Yeah.
it just crashed. These pilots they're not perfect. They make mistakes sometimes. Um, but I believe that is all the conflict news we have
There's also
because
an
the last one we had,
SU-57. Yeah, there's an
was
SU-57 that
yeah,
crashed on the 23rd of
yeah,
July. Again, completely unrelated to the war. This was over. Well, not completely unrelated. It's probably doing a mission, but it was over Russia. It wasn't shot down or anything. Although people are claiming it was shot down due friendly fire. I don't think it was. I think it just had a mechanical malfunction and then crashed after that. So that's all the military news. Again, there's nothing coming out. Well, nothing really reportable coming out of Iran conflict or the Israel conflict, and that's all we've got from the Ukraine conflict. A lot of it is now ground based or drone based, and again, we've covered so much drone stuff that I mean, it's just going to be the same stuff. It's going to be drone takes out aircraft or whatever, like again every single week, and unfortunately, that's not even being reported on much anymore either. So
yeah. We'll move on to my personal favorite section is the space news. There is some obvious space news with Starship. Starship Flight 13 launched last Friday night. I actually only caught the second half of this because I was doing something else. It was a successful launch of the booster. It made it further than last time, but didn't quite land very well. It hit the ocean at a few hundred miles an hour, not quite optimal. Um,
yeah, to be fair,
but um, the upper stage, also known as the ship, went on to deploy the very first operational Starlink V3 satellites. They were in a suborbital trajectory because they're not allowed to go orbital with Starship yet, because they got to be able to prove they can get out of orbit, which they did. They lit the engine in space on the V3 ship for the first time, which does mean that for Flight 14, they are going to attempt to go orbital and catch the ship with the launch tower, which is going to be very, very fun to watch. I will definitely be tuning in for the whole flight of that. Um, it did a full re-enter into the atmosphere, a couple thousand degrees, the usual, um, and it successfully did its flip and burn landing maneuver and did a, I guess you can call it a soft splashdown. It was, I mean, it's a giant 40-meter tall stainless steel tube hitting the ocean, so I don't know how soft it can be. But when it landed vertically, it then tipped over, and for the first time in the entire Starship program, it didn't immediately combust when it hit the ocean. It actually survived, and
yeah, because it like
as
fell
we are
on like the
recording,
bit that didn't.
yeah,
Yeah, it comes in obviously like
yeah,
that,
as
so the
we
heat
are,
shield can like
yeah,
do that, and then it landed that
comes
way.
in and then land that way. And as we speak right now, which is
Wednesday, the
almost a week
29th
after the
of
launch,
July at
yeah,
7:50 p.m.
specifically, yeah, it is still in the ocean, still floating around because I don't think they expected it to survive.
Pollution and
Uh,
that in it.
they, yeah, they have the quote unquote recovery team, which just are there to get pictures of the thing as it comes down. They aren't on a ship that's designed to tow it back to Australia or whatever the closest land is. Um, but they do have one there in Australia, and it, in the span of like a few hours ago, has set off and it is going full speed ahead towards the Starship, which by this point has floated over 200 kilometers away from where it landed.
Nah,
Um,
it's not healthy. That to be
so
fair,
it's not healthy now. There's stainless steel and water, um,
and fuel
you
in
know,
it.
the usual, and fuel. Well, by this point, it's probably got no fuel and it's been a few days.
Yeah, because it's been in the ocean, in
But
it.
yeah, it is just floating about. They got some of the coolest pictures, especially the one with the recovery team and Starship floating behind them is the coolest picture from spaceflight I have ever personally seen. If we remember, we'll put it up on the screen. Um, that was a very, very good flight for the SpaceX team. We do have a bit more news. I cannot remember which company. Blue Origin. I just checked. Blue Origin did a 2,500 second hot fire test of an engine, which is the longest ever hot fire test of a rocket engine to ever be performed. It continuously burnt for 2,500 seconds.
Which is at least
Um,
1 minute, by the way, guys. If you couldn't tell in
it's
like
at
minute
least one
perception.
minute. Yeah, it is at least 1 minute. It might even be at least two if you're pushing it. Um,
One and a half,
but
maybe.
that is Yeah, that is all the space news
Nah,
we have. We have
actually,
some weather news.
I
Oh,
disagree. A Chinese rocket got struck by lightning, I think.
oh, it did.
Yeah,
Uh, the I can't remember which rocket, to be honest. I kind of just brushed
One
it
of
off
them.
because I think most rockets are kind of designed for that nowadays, but it doesn't really happen very often because they still take the precaution of not launching directly into a thunderstorm.
Yeah, because like Apollo
But a
2 got
Chinese
like struck
rocket,
by lightning like twice or something
yeah,
like that. So they're like, nah, can't do
yeah,
that.
a rocket, it did get struck by lightning mid-launch. The pictures are great. The mission was a complete success for them. Didn't really cause any issues. Presumably they just turned it off and on again.
In it.
That's what I do. Um,
That's what I
but
tried to do with my
that
camera,
is
but it didn't
now it.
work. So
Yeah, it
unfortunately,
didn't
yeah,
work when you turned on and off your computer as well. Didn't work.
yeah, twice
Um,
actually.
yeah.
Hello.
But that is it for the yeah. That is it for the space news. Actually, is it for the space news this time? Moving on to the weather news, we're going all the way back to middle of June with this one. There was a volcanic land spout I'm not going to be able to pronounce the name of that. In
Let me
Hawaii,
have a
I'm
look,
pretty
lad.
sure. In Palau, it's got all the vowels in
Kalue,
one pretty much.
Klowie, Clowie,
Kilauea,
Clowie,
Kilauea, Kilauea.
Clowie.
It produced a land spout. Tornadoes and volcanoes, two things you probably don't want at the same time. Um, the usual. There was quite a lot of tornadoes in
Tornado.
America. Uh, Tornadoes, yeah.
No, no,
There
tornado,
was
like volcano, tornado.
tornado, yeah.
Exactly. Word
Volcano,
combination.
tornado. Word
Yeah.
combinations in that.
Volnado.
Congratulations. Um,
Volcano.
Volcano, yeah.
Something
Volcanic
like
land spout is the official term. Yeah, we had quite a few tornadoes in America. We'll get onto more of those later on because there was just a recent EF3
breaking news
tornado.
in it. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, breaking news. There was an EF3 tornado in Russia on the 23rd of June. Um, it's quite a big country. Get a few of them.
Did he have free damage,
Um,
to be fair?
yeah, a lightning strike set a house on fire in Bristol.
I wouldn't want to live
There's
in that house,
not much more to add
personally.
to
I'd
that.
rather not live in that
Probably not
house.
at the time, no. There was a tornado in Galway in Ireland. Actually touched down on the ground. As far as I'm aware, didn't really do much. Just kind of hit a tree. Um, and then this one, let's see if I can get it. Uh, there was a 130 mile per hour windstorm in America. Just straight line winds, just straight winds, no tornadoes on it or
What in the
anything.
twisted private
Just
server?
130 miles an hour. Yeah. That's elite, no, elite
It
ball
is,
knowledge if
yeah.
anyone will get that. But we do have some news on a bit of controversy actually. If you want to tell them a bit about that,
Yeah, so the Enid tornado, back in, what was it, May, I think it was. I think it was around May, very late May time. It was initially rated with EF4 damage. However, recent, like, re-looking teams, I don't know what you call those, like specific teams that look for damage indicators, have found EF5 damage with a RV that weighs more than the Dominator and the TIV teams, weighing in at 17,000 pounds, I believe it was, or kilograms, one of the two. Whatever one's probably lighter, I'd probably say. Got thrown 300 feet from where it was stationed and completely mangled, which was, I believe, 205 mile an hour wind speeds would have been needed to do that. At least 205, by the way. That is a like estimate using mathematics. So that is EF5 by 5 miles per hour. That is 5 mile an hour into the EF5 category. However, the National Weather Service, not Surface, for now have kept it an EF4 and they have no plans to upgrade it. And I don't understand why, because the Enderlin tornado that happened last year, the first EF5 in 12 years, was upgraded for the exact same reason that this one should have been upgraded. Also, hello, my camera quality's come back. You're right, guys. Um, awesome. The Enderlin tornado was upgraded for the exact same reason as this tornado should be, because they went back and looked at the damage indicators of the like 500 million ton corn carts being lobbed like 300 meters or something, and that would have needed like 217 mile an hour winds. This has two damage indicators, technically three if you count ground scouring, which only happens in violent tornadoes or with a strong enough wind speed, which again you would find in violent tornadoes. There was trees that had been like completely debarked, thrown hundreds of feet, and also the RV that weighs 17,000 of some sort of measurement that had been thrown at 300 feet. So there's a lot of outrage in the weather community at the moment through why this hasn't been upgraded. And again, you don't want EF5 like damage. You don't want any of that. But if it's EF5 and you've found it out through mathematic calculations, there is damage indicators there to say that it is an EF5, not just predictions. There is damage indicators there. So again, not really understanding why this hasn't been officially rated EF5, and a lot of controversy and outrage has been going on over Twitter because I was looking last night and a lot of people were very angry.
Yeah, and I mean, I personally believe it should be an EF5, officially rated an EF5. Um, there wasn't the only tornado that was quite strong, though. There was one in Brazil not long ago, actually, I believe today or yesterday,
Yeah,
that looked pretty violent on the videos. I'm not sure on the damage it caused. I've not actually seen anything of the damage, but it looked pretty violent with some meteorologists saying that it possibly could have had EF4 cliff strength winds. Um, Brazil kind of has its own tornado alley. Um, quite a few strong ones in Brazil often, but you just don't hear as much about them because obviously the news and stuff will talk about the American ones because it's more popular
yeah,
about them
but
being in
obviously we'll talk
America.
about
And
all of them
yeah,
as well. There was also the
yeah,
EF3 that hit, I believe it was Wisconsin last night through Appleton. It was like dusting the like it was like not dead through the center of it, but it sort of went just through like the outskirts of it. So definitely could have what like flattened that town. Was it the Joplin tornado that flattened that? But luckily it went sort of just around. It still damaged a lot of houses. There is a lot of damage indicators, and they are still looking at damage. But for now, it has been preliminarily rated an EF3 tornado, and that was in a 2% hatched tornado risk. So you'd think 2% for a just a tornado, and that is not a lot. Think 2%. That's 2/100ths. That's 1/50th. That is like nothing in terms of tornadoes, and it's produced a a strong tornado on the edge of violent if they find more damage indicators, which is incredible. Like houses have been completely like almost slabbed. Bad houses, like badly built houses, like wooden houses, have been completely slabbed, and some brick houses were also damaged as well.
yeah. I mean, you get some high risk storms and predictions that are 60%,
And
and you
don't get
don't get as
anything,
violent of a
or just
tornado.
nothing at all.
This
Yeah,
tornado was reportedly around a mile wide, which is very, very wide for a
wedge. That is
tornado.
a wedge
A
tornado.
wedge
Yeah,
tornado. Very, very violent. I didn't quite catch this live, but I
I
watched the
didn't either,
aftermath of it.
unfortunately. Yeah,
Um, I just tuned into the stream whilst another tornado was happening, but it was a very brief spin up that didn't really do anything. Um, but there is a bit more weather news, just around Europe, and it's not tornado related. It is heat related, heat waves.
yes.
Who would think it? More heat waves.
Climate
I'm currently in
change.
Spain, which is where there's a bunch of wildfires.
Yeah,
I'm
he's about
not
to
near
die.
them,
He's actually about to be like
thankfully.
engulfed by
Yeah,
flames on the
I'm about
podcast
to set
as
on
we
fire
speak. Yeah,
live on
like
podcast. Yeah,
spontaneously
um,
combust. Yeah,
spontaneously. You're gonna see it come through that window there. I'm not near any of them, but
neither am I because I'm
it
in
is
the
still a
UK.
wildfire. Yeah.
Actually, I have my own news
There's
to talk
one.
about that actually, so I'll let Joey finish his.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one near Bordeaux in France, which has reached the point now where it's got its own pyrocumulonimbus storm cloud above it,
Yeah,
which
it
is not
does.
great because it causes lightning strikes, which set fire to things.
And the thing
So
is,
it's kind
it's
of just
so
like
hot
supercharged
that
it.
the rain comes down and just evaporates. So the ground's here, the cloud will be up here. The
Yeah,
rain will just go like that, and it'll just evaporate back into the cloud. So you just have like an infinite
yeah,
cumulonimbus cloud up there because it just can't go anywhere because it just keeps evaporating back up into the sky.
yeah. France has converted an A400M
It
into a
has,
firefighting
yeah.
aircraft. Um, I believe they've deployed that already. I've seen
Yes,
a
they
few
have.
clips
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Um, there is also one in Madrid. There's actually wildfires everywhere. There's a bunch in Canada. There's a bunch in Tunisia and Algeria. The earth is on fire basically is the summary of this bit.
Yeah,
But
because
you have your
climate
own news
change.
about
Yeah.
fires.
Well,
Yeah,
basically, it was. You can't really call it a wildfire, but it sort of was. Basically, a combine harvester down in Titchfield, which is like half an hour away from where I live, had caught on fire. And by the way, half an hour in a car, so like quite far, had caught on fire in a field, and that smoke had travelled all the way past my house. Like it was so smoky outside my house. There'll probably be a picture up on screen. It's highlighted because I actually like took a picture and highlighted where the smoke was. Basically, the whole grey bit in that like green outline is just smoke. It was so bad. You could because I said to my mum like, why does it smell so strong in here? What are you cooking down there? They said, well, we've just had like chicken and stuff. So I said, oh, okay, that might be it, right? But then no, still like 3 hours later, it's still there. My mum was like, oh, close your windows. I said, why? And then she said, look outside. I was like, oh yeah, no, that would make sense, right? Because like we thought it may be a barbecue or something, but no, it was like a whole combine harvester that was on fire, and the smoke had just spread right over us. So it was yeah, really really bad. I assume it's probably because of the heat. It was like 30 degrees or something, so I assume it probably caught on fire because of that. But yeah, it was decently quickly extinguished, but the smoke sort of just lingered for quite a long time. So yeah, definitely wasn't great.
yeah, and it does. I can probably assume that the picture does not do it
No,
justice
it
because
does not.
it
No.
never does anything justice. It never does fog justice. It never does
Yeah,
smoke justice. It never does anything justice. But I mean, I saw a bit of wildfire smoke because it pushed it this way for like one
yeah.
night, but it's been mostly Saharan dust that I've been seeing actually right now.
Mate, my
It's a
car
bit
is just
dusty
full of
outside.
like sand. It's like just got those sand streaks all
Yeah,
over it from just yeah, it's
yeah.
really
There's
annoying.
so much dust on the side of this caravan. I mean, Morocco's like round the corner, innit?
Yeah, no.
So just so much Saharan dust literally everywhere. Every car outside looks like it's not been cleaned in weeks because there's Saharan dust all over the front
How's
of
the
it.
heat out there? Because like
It,
hotter than the UK, but like, is it like because thing is, there's a huge debate of it's hot in the UK. It might be like 5 degrees less than in Spain, but it feels like 20 degrees hotter than in Spain. Do you want to tell us your thoughts and facts and opinions from someone currently sat in a well, almost in a heat wave in Spain?
I mean, there is a heat wave at the start of next week, which is not going to be fun. It's getting up to 35 here. I will say, as someone who frequents Spain a lot, heat in England does feel worse. I don't know if that's what's it called? What's the effect called? You know what I mean?
Humidity.
The one where you think it's, you know, the one
Well,
where you think something's gonna happen, so it happens in your head. Um, what's it called? Like you think, oh, that's gonna hurt, so it hurts. But like if you think it's gonna be hotter, if you think it feels hotter, then it will feel hotter to you.
I've never had
I
that to
don't
be
know if
fair.
it's just that placebo effect. It could just be the placebo effect because everyone talks about it being hotter in England, so it feels hotter when you're there.
Yeah, I
But
guess, but it's again, it's
I think
very
it does feel
humid.
hotter in England.
It's very, very
Yeah,
humid in the UK because we have like the Atlantic jet stream that brings the Atlantic into us, and the Atlantic is like decently warm in
yeah,
it because like it's just like water and
yeah.
stuff.
I will say, uh, as someone who my bedroom at home is in the sun-facing side of my house, in at the top of the stairs, so all the heat that rises in my house goes into my room.
Same.
The inside of my room can sometimes reach 40 degrees
Yeah,
Celsius at
same.
about 100% humidity. That's with the aircon unit
I
on.
think you might evaporate
So,
with 100% humidity, but
well, no,
because
100%
like you just
humidity
be like
just means it's
water,
going to
like you're the
evaporate.
water inside of you, like because you're made of like 70% water, 70% of you would just evaporate, and you'd form like your own
Something like
cumulonimbus
that.
cloud in your room. So
Yeah, hopefully not. But I mean, it's very warm here. The inside of this caravan, and there's an aircon unit above my head because if I'm over there, it's boiling hot. Can reach 35 degrees, but even then, it doesn't feel as bad as my room at home.
yeah,
So, I personally am of the opinion that heat feels hotter in England just because I frequent Spain. It's been 30 degrees. It's not actually not going to get any cooler, including at night time, no cooler than 24 degrees now until I'm gone.
yeah.
It's currently 27 degrees. You might not be able to see it, but very, very warm.
Nah, because your
Uh,
blur's on.
30 plus degree, 30 plus degrees maximum temperature. It doesn't get Tuesday nighttime doesn't get any less than 27 degrees Celsius. Um,
To be fair, you actually don't
there's a
need your
nice
blur
breeze
on at
right
the
now,
moment because you're in like
but
Spain and that, innit? So it's just like,
that's true. It's just
yeah, yeah.
automatically
I
on,
was
to be
thinking,
fair.
yeah,
It doesn't really matter, to be honest.
yeah.
You can see me.
I know a
Um,
lot of people in the
but
TikTok are
it
like, "Oh
is,
yeah, why has this guy got his blur on?" It's
yeah,
like, yeah, I don't know, Mush. Ask
yeah,
him
a busy,
himself, innit?
busy
Yeah.
house,
But you're in a
busy house, yeah.
caravan, so like busy
Um,
caravan and that. Well, sort of, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, as for the heat here, I mean, it's going to be worse next week. I believe at one point it said 35 degrees Celsius. It said feels like 37.
Yeah.
That's mental. But heat
Bit
in
hot,
England,
innit?
I'm of the opinion it's hotter. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, wildfires and that.
Global warming and like that, innit? It's not a hoax, guys. It's not.
Yeah, apparently a lot of the reasons for the heat waves is that I don't know how true this is, but I saw people talking about it. Is that the EU got so good at getting rid of pollutants in the air that it's just not reflecting the sun anymore because the air is too clean. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot with that. That is apparently the data to prove it as well. Um,
Right.
don't know how true it is, but according to the data, since the EU implemented a lot of laws on pollutants, the average temperature in Europe has risen. There is other factors to that, obviously. That's when we started making like AI data centers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But um, it's it's too warm everywhere. It's too warm. Where's winter when you need it?
Nah, because winter's too cold. Winter's like minus 50 degrees at this point. Because like the
Where's
winters are getting
spring?
colder and then the summers. Yeah, well, even not even that autumn. Because like it's because spring, right?
Autumn,
It
yeah.
starts off cold and then gets hot. But with autumn, it starts off hot and then gets cold. So you get like a nicer window of warmingness because it's not going
Yeah.
cold into hot. It's going hot into cold.
Yeah, we need autumn very quick, and
In it.
can it just last 20 years?
Now, do you
Autumn
know?
this year,
I
can it
know
just
why.
last
It's
20
because the
years?
sun's getting hotter. It's not global warming's a hoax. It's literally the sun just getting hotter.
It's solar warming, yeah. Solar
Literally.
warming, not the global
Nah,
warming, yeah.
literally, exactly.
There's
Look,
nothing to
actually, do you
do
know
with
what? It's the
all the AI data
satellites.
centers.
Nah, it's the satellites because they're like reflecting it
Oh,
like a magnifying glass, isn't
yeah,
it? So
yeah,
like we're just getting burned. So yeah, global warming's a hoax,
yeah.
guys. Don't believe the woke governments telling you otherwise.
Something like that, man. And on that note, I think that's the end of the news, actually.
Yeah, to be fair. Oh, and my
Yeah.
camera quality's gone. Oh no, it's back.
Oh, it's back.
This webcam, Rev. I swear down.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that is the end of this episode, I
Yeah, it
believe.
is. Yeah.
Unless you got anything else to add.
Farnborough next week, guys. I'll be doing a review of that. That should have
And
been
then the
this
one after
week.
that should, in theory, be Blackpool.
Yes, in theory it should. So we got a very active next few weeks, guys. To be fair, the week off definitely worked. Um, I'm actually waiting for the next Air Showroom podcast. I thought they're going to do one about the military. No, not military. Well, yeah, military show. Because they went to the military Shuttleworth show. There was also another one that I think they were going to do. So we're still waiting for that. So hopefully they post theirs soon. So definitely go check out their channel. They're a great bunch of people. We've actually been in contact with them before, and hopefully we're going to do some sort of collaboration in the future. Obviously, I met them at Shuttleworth Festival of Flight, so that is awesome. Anyway, the next few weeks are going to be packed. We have Farnborough, Blackpool, Southport, which is at the end of the month, as well as my trip to Lakenheath, Mildenhall, and Norfolk. And to top it all off, in September we have Hampshire Air Festival. So, and the military air show in Shuttleworth, I'm going to that, and Little Granston. So that is one, two, three, four, five. The next 6 episodes are sorted out. So you got Farnborough, Blackpool, Military, Little Granston, Southport, Hampshire, and Lakenheath. I don't know. I probably said something twice there. I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, the next six
it'll be fine.
episodes are all going to be peak. They're going to be absolute cinema. And then we're going to think about something to do for off season because Hampshire Air Festival is the last air show we are all collectively going. Well, I mean, collectively going to the last air show that at least one of us will be attending. And the fact is, only one of us will be attending every air show that we've attended so far. So yeah, there you go. That
Yeah,
sort of rounds that off. We will also be missing, possibly missing a week unless Joey records one on his own because I will be on a trip to Dartmoor between the 17th and the 21st, so from the Monday to Friday of the week 17th. I will be off in Dartmoor doing some wild camping, getting some absolutely aura photos of me and the lads. So that is going to be super, super awesome. That's going to be our gap week next. So that's quite good because that actually fits in with Farnborough and Blackpool, and then you've got a week to just chill, and then we've got the off week where there won't be a podcast at all, and then we'll be. Well, I will probably be recording on my phone, or Joey's gonna have to record the one when I'm away because
Yeah.
I mean, I might be live at Lake and Heath at that time. If we record it on the Friday, if Joey's free, I might just be like being buzzed by F-35s and F-15s. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be awesome. That's all from me. Joey, do you have anything else to say?
Uh, Followers and stuff like Instagram,
Oh
TikTok, and
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's something we save to last because like we're not like beggars and stuff. Because it's always like, "Hi
Yeah, but do
guys,
it.
sub in it now before I start the video."
Yeah, but
That
do it though.
no, do you know what? No, do you know what they're like? They're like, "Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Otherwise, this spider will be in your bed at 3 a.m." I'm like, mate, get a grip,
Well,
mate.
like and subscribe, or global warming will hit your house.
Yeah, something like that.
Allegedly.
Anyway, yeah, it's a hoax by the woke lefty governments. Like, yeah, anyway. On that note, take care, everyone, and we'll see you for Farnborough International Airshow Review next week. Bye bye.